Hey Richmond, Virginia, have you heard that there's a shift going on in the housing market right now? We'll cover that today on your May 2022 Richmond, Virginia Housing Market Update. What is going on, party people? I appreciate you tuning in. If you would, like, subscribe, hit the bell, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff you're supposed to do. Thank you guys for tuning in, so let's jump right into it. So, with the shift that we are seeing in the real estate market right now, the somewhat gradual slowdown we are seeing in the real estate market right now has a lot of people scared, a lot of people worried, a lot of people nervous that this is going to be another 2008 scenario. I am not necessarily going to render a judgment, but I'm going to provide you with some slides, some facts where you can make your own educated decision. So for the first graphic, I'm going to share with you, if you look over my screen, you'll see a graphic that shows the inherent product risk, meaning the risk that it's involved in the loans that were given, and then also the borrower risk, meaning how much risk that borrowers were actually taking on themselves with mortgage products from about 2005 until current day. You will see in the graphic, not only were borrowers taking on more risk pre-2008, but the inherent risk within those mortgage products was much, much higher pre-2008 versus post-2008. Secondly, you will see in this next graphic that foreclosures are actually at an 18-year low right now. So even if foreclosures were to triple, we would still be at a very historic low for the number of homes that are being foreclosed on. And some might say, hey, that's because of the moratoriums and everything that's been going on. And I do think there's some credit to be given there, but we're still at very low foreclosure levels. Third, you can see the graphic of loans that are giving out to borrowers with a sub 620 credit score. And as you can see, those numbers are down much lower than they were going into the 2008 bubble. And last but not least, some of you might be saying, yes, Chris, but what about the cash out refinances? In this graphic, you will see the cash out refinances rather that have been happening over the last 2 years have virtually unchanged people's mortgage payments by and large, given the fact that rates have been so low that the people doing those cash out refinances were not necessarily changing their cash flow position. So all that being said, I don't necessarily think we're heading into another 2008 scenario. Would be very curious to see in the comments what you think and if you think we're going to see a major housing bubble. Now headed to the actual Richmond, Virginia stats. So as you will see, I'm going to run through some graphics with you of what we've been seeing in the real estate market. This is a last trailing 12 months. So we are shooting this on May the 12th. We currently only have the numbers for April. But if we look at it, we have seen a shift, a little bit of a slowdown in the last 2 to 3 weeks, both in my personal business and also in talking to my peers throughout the greater Richmond area. So we are seeing slightly less traffic on listings. We're seeing a few less offers on listings. We're also seeing less money over asking price on a lot of listings that are hitting the market. Primarily, the lower price points are being affected because those are the folks that are most affected by the recent mortgage rates hikes. Somebody that is marginally qualified is now in an even tighter position with higher interest rates. But looking at the numbers, so we are still at, in the month of April, 0.6 months supply of inventory. We've been sub 1 month since October of 2021, so we're still very much in a hot market. We were at 105% of asking price in April, so the number actually jumped in the month of April, the amount that homeowners were getting for their homes. I do predict that we will see that number drop here in the coming months once the May numbers become available. And we have actually seen 24% appreciation in the median sales price since January of 2021. So even if we see price depreciation, which no one's really predicting that we're going to see, we're just going to see price acceleration slow down. But even if we head into a little bit of depreciation of pricing, realize how much how much ground that we've gained over the last 2 years. So what is on the horizon? What are experts predicting? So I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions right now. What's going to be happening with the housing market? Are we heading into a crash or prices coming down? I know Uncle Larry that watches too much Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, pick your poison, thinks that the sky is falling and prices are going to be coming down. Here's what experts are saying. So if you look at the graphic over my shoulder, you will see the home price appreciation forecast for 2022 for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, CoreLogic, the Home Price Expectation Survey, National Association of Realtors, Ivy Zelman and Associates, and the Mortgage Mortgage Bankers Association, basically the 7 organizations that are the most highly respected organizations for pricing forecasts. And all of them, as you can see, are scheduling or predicting that we're going to see continued appreciation throughout the remainder of this year. Kind of the combined average for those 7 is 9% appreciation that we will see for the remainder of the year, looking back from January to December. So what does this all mean for you? If you are somebody that is looking to sell your home, I would say fear not. Despite the clickbait headlines that you might have been seeing, even if the market slows down a little bit, we are not scheduled to see depreciation. I think we're just going to go from about the 120 miles an hour that we've been going to about 90 miles an hour, which, in the grand scheme of things, we're still going very, very quickly. Homes are still selling quickly. They're just not selling. The market's not as frothy as it maybe was 2 months ago. But we are headed back into a market where pricing is going to matter. For a while there, pricing certainly just didn't matter. It was slap whatever price you wanted to on it. It was going to sell 5 to 10% over the asking price of the home anyway, so pricing didn't matter. I think we are headed back into a market where getting the price right is going to be a key factor in your success when you are selling. And last but not least, marketing matters. So we've seen a lot of folks, unfortunately, that have listed their homes with maybe subpar agents, or they just don't take good photos, they don't do the staging work, they don't do all the preparatory things that we normally do when we're getting a home ready for market. And a lot of sellers have gotten away with that over the last 2 years. I predict we're heading back into a market where all those things are going to matter. They've always mattered in achieving maximum price for your home, but I think that's going to be the difference between a home actually selling and a home not selling in the market that we're heading into. For buyers, realize that rates are scheduled to continue to rise. So as of this recording, talking to my go-to mortgage loan officer this morning, rates are currently in about the high 5s to the low 6s, depending on your credit score. Predictions are those are going to get anywhere from the mid 6s to 7s at this point. So realize that we're in an environment where the Fed is trying to hedge off inflation, so rates will continue to rise. So as much of a kick in the pants as it's been with the rate hikes recently, realize that rates are going to continue to go up. So if you're waiting on the sideline for rates to come down, I think you're going to be waiting for a long time. Realize, guys, this is the break that you've been hoping for. So as I just shared with you, we are starting to see where the market has slowed down a little bit. We're seeing a little less competition on listings. We're seeing where competition is a little less fierce. If you're somebody that's been in the market and you've just kind of gotten fatigued with the process, realize this is a good opportunity to strike, just because anytime we see drastic rate increases, that does knock a lot of buyers out of the market or give a lot of people pause where they're questioning whether or not it's a good time to buy a home. If you're somebody that's going to be buying a home, I'd recommend doing it now versus later. And last but not least, keep your cash. So we've been in an environment probably the last 14 months where if you did not have some serious cash, you were really not even in the game, just because folks were having to guarantee appraisals, folks were having to waive inspections, offer crazy amounts over asking price. I predict that we're going to be heading into a market where we're not going to see as much of that, which is really good news for somebody that's maybe not as strong of a cash position, where you don't necessarily need to be cashing out retirement accounts or hitting up mom and dad. So that's good news for somebody who doesn't have as much cash on hand. So hope that made sense. That was our May 2022 market update. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions that I didn't address, go ahead and throw them in the comments. If you disagree, you agree, you got a good joke you want to share with me, throw it in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next month.